Hey everyone, this is Annalisa with Inside Real Estate, and I am here with Ryan Harpen. Hello, sir.
Hey, everybody.
And we are
Uh,
here to kind of go over the email editor. Anything to add, Ryan?
no, let's do the demo. You've been talking a lot about the email editor, so I figured we'll just let you kind of pop in the kvCORE, and we're just going to do a basic tour today. We'll have a guy from
Yeah,
product here. Devin might jump on later if we can get specific questions answered in a few minutes. But
perfect.
maybe, Annalisa, before you jump in, maybe we could just ask everybody if they've had a chance to try out the editor yet. If they want to reply in the comments, let us know if you have any specific questions or feedback on the editor before Annalisa jumps into the demo.
That would be amazing. And also, if you could jump into that chat via GoToWebinar and just let us know. You can see my share screen with my cursor moving around. You can hear us. That way we know we're 5 by 5 and everything is looking like we can proceed. So you can just pop in there and let us know if you have questions about the email editor. Let us know you can see us and hear us. That would be super helpful. And I'm going to start in about 5 seconds. I haven't heard anything yet, but I'm going to assume we're good to go.
I think we're all right. I hear you fine. Everybody's shy today. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Okay, so I am taking the doc link here and I am going to copy it and paste it out to all of you. And just so you're all aware, this will also, it's being recorded right now. So what we do at the end of every week is we take this recording and we send it out via chat. So if you're on your dashboard, and maybe you're even at an open house, so you're like, oh, I'm just, I want to learn something, but no one's here yet. You can pop into this little chat bubble here on the bottom right. And when you're looking at your messages, like these conversations that come up via chat, if you see like a little red dot next to these, you haven't read it yet. So you can always jump in to see all of these. So like, here's where we announced the advanced email editor about 4 days ago that came through to you in chat. Now we will also email this out to you. We're going to drop it on a replay site on our YouTube channel, which I have linked right here where you can catch all of our replays, and I try to get these into the Inside Real Estate Success Strategy group. So we really try to make sure you have access to this easily in quite a few places. So hopefully you're able to find those and access those anytime. Now, we do have this basic email editor and this advanced editor, and they're both available for you to use anytime. It's really, really important that you cement this fact in your head. So if you start using a draft in one editor and you choose to switch to the other editor, like midstream, the changes are not going to migrate with you to that alternate editor that you choose. So the system is going to ask you, hey, are you sure you want to opt to make sure you want to abandon those changes and go to the new editor? So what I'm speaking to is, let's say you are on your dashboard. Let me minimize chat here. Let's say you're on your dashboard and you jump into quick actions to send off an email. You can click into quick actions, send email. And what we're looking at here is the basic editor like we've had since the beginning. So maybe you start typing in information here. And you're like, ooh, wait a minute, I want to add images, I want to add video, I want to add a little more formatting to make it look a little crisper. So these are really good for like quick text-based emails like your campaign templates, etc. But if you want to pop into the advanced editor for like a newsletter to send out listing information with maybe links to the listing and all that good stuff with a photo and video, you're going to want to really jump into this advanced editor. Now, there's a couple of things you can do here to do that. You can either go into this template section, and what you're going to see here are little pencils. These are all like text-based templates that when you click on them, they're going to open up the basic editor. Or you can scroll down and you should see like a little masonry tile show up. There we go. So these are actually canned templates that product built that you just have to choose and fill information. So like if you have a new listing, this is a good example. If you have a new listing or a newsletter, you can just scroll down to this template section, click it, and newsletter is going to abandon this basic and open up your advanced. Same with new listing. And the neat thing about this is now it's pulling in content that we can just click and drag and pop content, and we don't have to worry about building a template from the ground up for a new listing. So again, the access, go ahead.
I was zoning out. So that little drop down shows me if it's an advanced template or a basic by the little icon on the left.
Right. So like if you're popping in and you go to build that email on your quick actions, etc., you know, you just go to your send email. You can either open your advanced editor here or just pop into the template. Every pencil template is a basic editor. Every masonry icon is an advanced editor.
But we don't want to switch in the middle because we'll lose our work.
Right. Yeah, don't become like me and get an eye twitch from Discovery. No. So, but basically, you know, these are just things to be aware of. So when these auto-populate, what you have are all of these little areas of content rows. So these are all content rows. And you can see there's one here for the listing address, one for the listing description, one for the listing button. So what you can do first is what I want to point out is, see when I'm highlighting this main listing image is highlighted in blue. This is the container for this particular piece of information. There's background colors within this, and there's background colors on the outside. The difference is being when you're looking at the information encased in like these outlines, this is like your optimized mobile device width. So product was very thoughtful in creating a mobile device width of 500 pixels. That's the average of the majority of those mobile device views out there. So when you build things in within these parameters, that's where it's going to land mobile. But when we click outside, this little leftover section is what could land potentially in that email section. So you can customize this as much as you need to with your brand colors, hex colors, you know, hex codes and so forth. But I want to make sure you're aware of what these mean. And I know we're covering a lot, but you can always come back to this to review. It's just important little details you're going to need to know. So any questions so far? Let me take a look here. Just going to pull my question box out and take a peek. Nothing so far, it looks like. Okay. It looks like someone has been jumping in to use it, so that's great. So what do we do with these now that we have the header? So what we can do is actually click into this section. So when I was clicked out of it, so when I clicked into just listed, it brought up all the text, you know, options and so forth, and text colors, link colors, line height, and so forth. When I click outside of that and click into my agent header, it's going to bring up a different set of options over here in relation to this agent header section. So I can actually change this up. Do I want to make it my agent header to pull in directly from my information? Do I want to have a view listing button? Do I want it to schedule a showing button? Do I want to have a triple listing image, triple, you know, image on a row, agent photo, etc. So this is all geared towards a single property. And I just realized I forgot to write down an MLS number for a listing. Ryan, can you grab one of those for me real quick? Or do you, I had one written down the other
I
day, but
definitely
now
can.
it's
Yep, give me one second.
Thank you. So what we need when we build this new listing template is to drop an MLS ID in here. And what that's going to do is trigger the system to say like, oh, hey, I've got something to pull onto here. I'm going to grab all the information regarding this MLS ID into these particular sections for you, which is pretty slick. So we're just going to get that MLS number, and I see a question. Let me pull that over here.
Hey, Annalisa, I can answer that while you continue.
Oh, thank you very much. So Devin's here and he's on it. Awesome, thank you so much. So let's see.
That MLS is in your Slack if you want it.
Oh, perfect. Let me go ahead and pause my screen.
Or do you want it in you put it in the chat? Here, I put it in the chat to everybody. Yep.
4920440.
Guess I could have just read it to you, but oh well.
I mean, you know, I'm old-fashioned that way, but this worked. So you can drop your MLS ID in here, and to cement this ID in here, you can kind of think of these fields like when you're building your landing pages. You click outside of the field to cement that MLS number in place with this particular form. Okay, so now we've connected the MLS ID. We know this is a new listing just listed, and what we want to do is make sure we name this field, because this is where we're naming our template. So I'm just going to call this Smith Drive. We'll just call this, you know, new listing Smith Drive. And that way, as you're sending these templates out to folks, you've got it named, you can pull from it again, use it, send it out, etc., and recognize what you built. If you just leave it as just listed here, it's just going to show like that for everything you use for this new listing template. So it's super, super important. You choose your template and then name it purposefully. That way you can recognize it. All right. Anything to add, Devin, Ryan, so far? We good?
Yep, you're doing great. I'm just going through and answering questions here in the chat as you go on, and
Cool.
have a couple of those in there.
Awesome, thank you. Now, one thing that you may want to do preemptively before you start bringing content over or dragging additional information or filling this in is, again, looking at these backgrounds. So you've got your whole container background, which includes the side of the email, and then this edge here and here is your mobile edge. And you also have background information you can put within these. So there's a little things you can do to help ease the process. You can either leave these as white, or you can click on settings over here. And this is where you can look at your pixel width, you can change your background color and your content area background color. So one easy thing we can do is we can either click into the box and choose a color, or use this, you know, to choose a different color. You can kind of see how easy it is just to play around with it. Or if you have the hex code, you can actually drop that in there. So 000, I believe, is black. So yep, so pound 000 or hash 000 is black. So now you can see I've made the background color for the whole email black, but we don't have a content area described yet. So we can actually make that black as well if we wanted to. So we can do the pound 000 and make that black. And now you can see we have continuity of the black coming across and through and connecting the black for the email. So if we wanted to preview this now, which is super easy to do, we just click preview here. And what the system is going to show you is everything you have purposely and manually added to this template. So what we're looking at here are all of the pieces that kvCORE is going to add for us. So we're not going to see those elements. We just know where they're going to land while we're building this. And that's why they built in this send test. Now, the cool thing about this is we can either look at a desktop view, which is what we're seeing now, or a mobile view. So you can look at these and see, okay, does it look right? Is it right for my eyes? My message carrying right? Is it all landing where it should? You can double check these things really easily just by going to the preview. And then to exit, just click the X. Now, if you get to a point where you're like, hey, I really want to get eyes on this from like the consumer point of view and send myself a test message, super easy to do. You just click send test up here. And the system is going to verify that it sent it here at the bottom right, which is normally where you see a lot of the verifications land. And then the email it sends to is the email of which you are signed into at the top right of your dashboard. So right now I'm signed in as a company admin, so my preview was sent to that email address. Okay, so let's talk a bit more about these contents and rows. Now, actually, I guess one more thing we can do is I can say, if I'm adding a link, what color do I want it be? I can add, click in a color or add a hex code here for a specific color, and I can choose up my font. So if I have a specific font of which my brand mandates that I use, I can choose that and go forward with that. I know some companies have those types of rules in place. So it's important to kind of know about the fonts, colors, hex codes, and all that good stuff. All right, so let's go back into the body of this and click into content. Now, let's say we want to add an image or a button or a video into this. Maybe we want to put a video right below just listed. We can actually click on this video tab. You can kind of see how it shoots out to the bottom left or right. We can actually drag this. And if we, and Devin, please make sure I'm getting this right. If we drop it here, we're putting it directly under just listed. Is that right?
Yep, that's where you're dropping it.
Okay, just wanted to make sure because I'm still kind of feeling this thing out. So what's going to happen is now we have our agent header that the system will pull. We've got the video URL, which we now need to add. And it's super, super easy to do this. So when we click into this, a new menu for content properties matches up to the video call to action. And now we can drop our YouTube or Vimeo link. So it's really cool they added the Vimeo link. Super, super awesome. So now we can go to YouTube, we can grab a link and place it in there. So I'm just going to do a quick search for a home tour. Just going to pretend this one's mine on this example. Well, that was an interesting screen pause. Okay, well, there you go. There's your entertainment for the day. All right, I'm just going to copy the address for YouTube and then just paste it in. And I'm going to click outside of the box to save it, just like you would for your landing page. And now we have the just listed and the video view in here. Now, the neat thing about this is you can actually customize your icon type, color, and size. So depending on the color of the house, you may want to look at the type, round solid. Is it rectangular solid? Is it a square solid? Or do you want it to be dark so it pops out from the house? So if it's a light colored house, you might not want a light colored button. You might want to put a dark colored button. And then you can also adjust the size of the play button. Now, one thing you can do within these content boxes, where we drop the videos, you see how the video goes all the way to that borderline on each side. We can actually drop in what we call padding. Now, the padding will bring in the image, the video inwards by 5 pixels at a time when you apply this. So if I go into this on this inside block options, I can say, well, I want to bring that in by like 15 pixels so there's a black box completely around this. Or maybe I want to just remove that and go to more options and only add padding to the right and left side. So I can go in, and I'm thinking that's 20 and 20, thinking. But you can go in and, get some continuity so you've got that equal padding around the video. Now, if we want to preview this, just click preview. We can take a look at the desktop. We can take a look at the mobile. And now you can see, because this is something we as a user have physically added into the template, we can see it. So again, it'll show you everything you physically added, the elements of which kvCORE adds, you'll see in the preview when you send your test message to yourself. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click the X to get back into this. Okay, so any questions about functionality on videos so far? Is there anything anyone in particular is asking to learn about?
Yeah, we've had several questions go in. Annalisa, could you perhaps go through the difference between preview and send test?
Absolutely. So when we are looking at the editor itself. Say we're at a point where we're like, okay, I think it's good to go, but I want to give it the once over. And right now we're currently editing this because we can see the content row and settings options over here. So we're currently editing. We can go into preview to kind of give it the eyeball from here. And again, we're going to see everything that we have physically added. So I just added the video, so that's why I see it here. kvCORE will add the listing address, listing description, and this information when we send it. So when you click send test, you're going to see all of this information customized and added in your send test email.
And I would just add that that will send directly to the email that you have as your kvCORE email. So you'll get a preview of what the image looks like and then be able to go in and make adjustments.
Yeah, it's quite phenomenal, Devin. Your team really blew it out of the park. So yeah, when you send your test, it's going to go to this email address on your upper right-hand side. So now everybody knows my Gmail. That's okay. Let's see here. And let's see, and then saying, do you have to change those things or they save for you? So it saves as we add, and then we have to manually delete things to get rid of it. Is that correct, Devin?
Sorry, I was focusing on answering a question in here. What was your question?
Well, there was a question about, do you have to save these things, or they, do they save, or do you have to, save every time? So basically, when you're building, it's saving as you go, and then it's really not finalized until you trigger it to send. Is that correct?
Correct.
It saves as you go? Okay, perfect. Did that answer your question, I hope, John?
But if you log out or something, it'll still be there, Annalisa?
That would be a question for Devin. So if we're in the middle of building something, is it going to save from like where we started?
It won't save over an existing template. So all of the data is maintained there. But if you were wanting to come back to it later, you would definitely want to save it there at the bottom and then come back to said send template.
So send?
Well, right now you're sending it to somebody, but in the template builder.
Oh, if I was in the other template, gotcha. Because this is a one-off that I got into because I'm in sending.
This is just a one-off.
Quick actions. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So because this is a one-off via the quick actions, that's up here on the top right of the dashboard, I'm basically building it and sending it. However, you can utilize this within the advanced email editor, which is pretty awesome. So should we switch over to that one, I'm thinking?
Do we?
Did you have a question?
No questions. Lots of good questions in here. Devin's knocking them out.
Oh, I thought you said do we, and I'm like, yes. Okay.
Do we, the EET.
Oh, no. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of this one. I'm just going to cancel it. Yes, and what's nice here is like, are you sure? That way it's, if you're, then you're like, no, wait, no. Then you can say, no, don't do it. So let's go ahead and talk about how we can leverage our smart CRM filters that we've saved, as well as our hashtag use and statuses within our scheduled mass email. So, as you've been using your smart CRM and creating your filters that you might come back to a lot, you can leverage these filters within your scheduled mass email template, which is pretty cool. So if you're building a newsletter or you have a specific listing, you need to send a grouping of people within a hashtag, you can do that, or even within a smart CRM filter. So let's pop into Marketing Autopilot. And from here, we're going to go to Schedule an Email. Now, if you're not familiar with this, if you're like, ooh, what is this magical thing? This basically helps you create an email of which that you can trigger to send at a specific time and date. So when we click on Scheduled Email here, at the top right, it says, well, where do you want to send these? So we can say, do we want to send them to a filter of which we saved on our smart CRM? So I've built some as examples, like who are my buyers that are new and active yesterday? Where's my credit repair list? Yeah, maybe I have something to send from my lender about building your credit. Maybe it's a monthly newsletter. Maybe it's my newsletter database. Maybe I want to get a hold of people who are active, but I need their phone. Maybe they're people that are looking for homes in Tuxedo or Warwick. You know, I can send people those specific types of listings really easily via this scheduled mass email. I can also choose a specific hashtag to send something to. Or I can choose an entire status. So you've got options here on how to leverage the information of which you are collecting and categorizing. So let's say we've got our monthly newsletter. You know, then as an admin, so I have top-down access because you can see here at the top right, I'm a company admin. So based on your level of access within kvCORE is going to depend what you're going to see for scope here. If you are just an agent, or not just an agent, I shouldn't say that. If you have the agent seat, you're only going to see yourself as a choice here. If you have admin capabilities, you may have the ability to set your scope company-wide within an office or a particular agent. So myself, you know, I'm as an admin, maybe I just want to do this for myself as an agent, or maybe I want to create this for a company-wide send. Now from here, I can choose the date of which I want to send this. So maybe I want to send this on the 2nd at 7:30 a.m. Now, one thing to keep in mind is when these are sending, they're sending Eastern time. So this is an Eastern time equation right here. So be thoughtful about this when you're planning things from other time zones.
We need that. We need that big and red, Devin. I would have never known that.
I'd like a big arrow going.
Eastern.
Yeah, yeah, that would be really nice to have it a little more punch. With the template here, it's the same idea as your one-off template. So again, you can click in. Oh, wait a minute, I don't see any of the Mason tiles. Oh, because we're not in the advanced editor. Derp. So now I can click into my advanced editor to create information. So you can see it kept all of my choices above, and then it switched over to the advanced editor. Now, will those templates show here now, Devin? Maybe not?
I'm not sure why they're not showing it. Maybe
okay.
that none of them are designed for none of the templates that you have are currently designed for the mass editor, but I'll make a note to look into that and make sure that it's not a bug.
Ooh, cool, thank you. So, okay, so now we're like, okay, now we need to create something. So we're gonna walk through how to add information here. Super easy to do. Myself, I'm a visual person, so when I started wrapping my head around how to build these, I started thinking like, okay, this is kind of like a foundation of a house. Your rows is like a foundation section. So we're gonna drag our foundations in. And what happened is it took the content row that we already had up here, and I dragged this one with 2 boxes above it. So now we have like a foundation for information we're going to add. Now we need to add like all of our choices like tiling and sinks and flooring and all that good stuff. So this is where our contents come in. So I can say I need to have an image of the home land here. So I'm going to drag that into my house, my foundation. Maybe I want a text box to land here. And maybe I want to drop in a button right here. So now I need to add content to these 3 sections. Now it's super important. We're going to start here with the background again. So you can see we've got those different backgrounds again, and we need to adjust that. So let's go over to our settings, and we can just set our background colors really, really easily here. And they can be whatever color you want to drop in or your hex code, but it's just a good idea to get into the habit of doing that. Then you can also see that maybe, I think it's on Arial right now, we can change up the font if we want to. But it's only changing the font in this particular box. But it's going to change up the font for the whole content section as far as I'm aware. Is that right, Devin? When I change my default font, it's going to change the default font in here going forward for everything we add. Is that right?
Correct, but you also have the ability to change the font on a individual text block by text block basis.
Cool. So that's really neat. So like if you have a default set and then you want to give a second like text block a little punch, you can change up the font, change up the color, whatever you need to do, which is pretty nice. So this is like your default properties, and then you can also change and make a change within specific boxes. Now we've got our text color. Let me go back in. We got our background color, our content color, we've got our default font, and then we have a link color. I'm just going to leave that as blue. Now let's go back to this content and this image. So what you see here is this browse button. Now the browse button will not be used until you have started building your image library. And just how do you start building that image library, you ask? It's very easy. Just open up your desktop and you're basically going to click and drag. So let's see here. I'm going to my Core Learning Center. So let's say I have a photo I want to drag over here. So to initially add an image, I am just going to click that image off my desktop and drag it on in. And when I click out, it updates. Now, if I want to add another one, I can do so. Or is this just like repeats the box, correct? It copies the image.
Yeah, you push
file.
the duplicate.
Yeah, so you can duplicate it, or if you're like whoopsies, like I am, you can just click the little delete, and it'll get rid of it. So there's a lot of real easy navigations here they've built in. So we've dropped in the content. We can also click this little directional guy here. And when we click that, the content properties for this image appear. So now I can say, well, do I want to align it from, one second. Do I want to align it in the middle? Do I want it on the left? Do I want it on the right? Where do I want this to land? Do I want alternate text? Do I want the image, do we want to drop an image link here so when they click on it, it opens on a new web page? Do we want it to signal them to send an email to me? Do we want to signal them to make a call to me, send a text? You can choose different options here. You also have the padding options. So you can add in all sides, or you can go to padding options for different sides. Now, from here, let's go ahead and add in a text block. So now we can see this text color is pretty darn light, so we can actually go in here, highlight it, and grab a different color. So I believe that's right in here. So you can see here we've got the text color, this little down arrow, and then I can choose a different text color if I want. So you can have your default text color in your settings here, and then you can individually change up your text color and font within your text boxes. And then of course you can also go in and edit, insert a link. You use merge tags. So if you were going to say like, hi, first lead, you can go into merge tag and just say, hi, first name. This is, and then you could drop in your name, agent name, and then you could put in your site as URL or your, company information, location name, and all that good stuff. So you have the ability to add in all of this custom information at your fingertips, which is pretty nice. And then if you're writing out messages in alternate languages that might use umlauts or special characters, this little omega icon is your special character menu. So I know it's important to get those tildes and umlauts correct in a lot of languages. So, you have your options here to add those in, which is pretty neat and pretty thoughtful. Okay, so now we have our image in place. We have our text in place. Now what are we going to do with the button? So we can actually click in here, and you can see when I clicked on the button, it outlined and it brought up content action for the button options. So do we want the button to open on a specific page? And inside realestate.com replays is where you'll always find all of the webinars of which Ryan and I created and our tips and tricks. So mental note there. But you can actually say, I want this to be associated here, or I can link a file. And what's going to be happening here is you're going to be able to upload a file and link it into that email. So there's some pretty cool. Go ahead.
We had a question about sending PDFs earlier, and this is kind of where it happens, right?
Yep. Just go. So you're gonna add that button, and then when the button content properties show up and when it's outlined, you'll be able to either send it to a URL. So if you have your information on a blog or something, you can just drop that link in right there and choose how you want it to open, or you can click link file, pop it into your folder, attach it, and it'll link into the document, into the email. You can also look at the auto width on the button. So you can see when I toggle it on, it's smaller. When I toggle it off, it's larger. So I can actually drag this and whoa, big button. You know, so you can actually adjust this pretty easily, along with maybe you want a different background color behind the button to make it pop out. You know, you can do things like that as well. So right now it's a blue button with a text color of white. And then do I want it, you know, middle, left, right? Do I want it single? I think it's probably like 1.5, 1 or 2 on the line height. Border radius, you know, how much distance do I want around the border, and so forth. And then of course the padding options. And I'm trying to think of anything else. Did I miss anything within the button section, Devin? Do you know? I don't think I did.
You got it.
Okay, thank you. All right, so now let's say we are ready to take a look at this. So we'll be able to see a preview here. This is just a short and sweet 1-row email. And I can look at the mobile view and see what it looks like for mobile. So you can see it has our photo that we dropped in at the top. And then it'll be the information we're sending. And then we have our merge tags in that will fill when it's sent. And then we have our button that will be connected to the link of which I attached a moment ago. And then you'll only see the work in its entirety when you send the test email to yourself. All right, I'm just going to catch up to see if there's anything. Oh, let's see here. When I was playing with this, it's not obvious to change the, so John, are you seeking to change the wording on the button instead of it just saying button? I think so. I think that's what he's asking. I think we can, yeah, we can actually click in there. So you can see, you can click in and you can say, hey, John, click this, you know, this for more info. So if you're sending a one-off, you can actually really make this personalized and nice. All right.
Annalisa, can you actually use a merge tag in there? I'm not sure. I've never tried to do this.
I don't see it come up as an option.
Can you use the at function though?
Yeah, let's see.
Uh-oh, getting geeky.
No, it doesn't look like it.
Okay.
But you know what? It's a good idea. I'll see here. But you know, we have the ability here. Yeah?
Click here, Annalisa, would be fun. You know, personalize the name.
Yeah.
Can you, Devin brought up a cool thing. That's like a little Easter egg, that little at trick. Did you already mention that?
Well, I hadn't yet. So let's go ahead and go into, let's add another text box to this example. So we're going to click on content and we're going to grab text and just pull it in so it lands under. So you can see that drag it here is right above the T. So I know I'm putting it under. If I put it here, it's going to go above the button. If I put it here, it's going to go to the left or the right bottom of the image and just under the text. So you can kind of see where you're placing these as you drag it. Okay, so now I have my text block in here. And I can either use this merge tag menu here, or I can type in the shift 2. Oop, it should work. The @ symbol, and then I can just, tap first name. And it's just like a nice little shortcut.
Shift, I don't know if that was clear. So you click shift and then 2, and then the @ symbol's above the 2. So
Yes, so shift and F2 equals the @
Got it. Oh, that's handy. If you're going to be doing this a lot, I would probably default to start using that instead of constantly clicking the merge tag thing. And you can quickly search it, start typing.
Well, and it might not be a bad idea if you have a lot of things that are going to start with, hi, such and such, this is such and such from this website. If you just had that, you can copy and paste it and just pop it in there. So you don't have to keep like clicking and typing. There's a lot of shortcuts you can create for yourself, which is nice. All right, so we're about 42 minutes in. That flew by.
There's
any
something
questions,
I definitely don't,
tips, tricks?
Well, there's something I definitely don't want you to miss. To me, this is huge. Is the video stuff. Did you get the video? And I was zoning out, and I apologize if I missed it.
There will be a quiz later, Ryan.
All right, but you got the YouTube stuff?
No, I'll do another one. No problem.
But so you did do it. If you did it, don't worry about it.
No, let's just show it again, just as a refresher, because it is new to a lot of people. So no big deal. All right. So what we can do is you click on your content box, and I just want to bring a video in. Whoop.
And I did miss it, but there was a point around this.
That's what it was. Yep.
Yeah, there was a point around this I wanted to bring up, and it's very cool. And it's something that I've had in the back of my head. Me and you've been working on it a lot here for Inside Real Estate, and that is the popularity of YouTube with the kids coming up who are under, anybody under 30, I guess, is like living on YouTube, maybe even older.
They are, yeah.
And there's some opportunity here to drive some nice traffic over to your YouTube channel, and as you do it, maybe in the body of your emails, mention, hey, you're going to click over to my YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe for more weekly real estate deals. I'm always posting stuff, whatever you might be doing on your YouTube channel.
And also I will do a tutorial on how to add in the subscribe prompts on those cards. I think that would be helpful for people too.
Yeah, so I think a separate webinar, Annalise, I mean, you got to get together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
After we've got the functionality down here, let's do a webinar next about the actual content of emails and, different ideas. We haven't done one of those in a while. It's probably been a few years. About what to actually send, what to drip, and what to mass email.
Right. So now you can see I added in the video. We can add the padding to the left and the right like we did before to get that continuity of a box. And
you can play with the you can play with the icon too, right? I'm geeking out over this feature. That's why I wanted you to come back. So you can make the icon like red and shiny and all this other stuff, where there's different templates.
So it says, click here for juicy details. Love, Hartman.
There you go.
Because that seems like something you'd say. But this is where you can add in that information. And with the icon on the video, make sure you're clicked on the video so it's outlined. And then you can determine, do I want it to be just an arrow? Do I want that arrow to be dark or light? How is it going to pop on the image of which is landing? I think that's the most important thing to consider, how it stands out.
And you can make it bigger, right?
You can go from 50 to 80.
Yeah, so it's just, I guess I'm making the point. It's important that people know that image is going to play something when they click it. So.
Yes. Yep.
Cool.
So that's how we get that in there. And now I know people are saying, well, hey, how do we get access to this now? So we did record this. It will be uploaded to the www.insiderealestate.com replays.
Yeah, /replays or /webinars. And it's probably good to bring that up because we've recently segmented these out into different topics. And that big red button will give you all of them in chronological order on the bottom right. And then this will probably land in our kvCORE Basics playlist.
Yeah, it should, because what I'm trying to do on our YouTube channel is organize it a bit. So now we have all of the videos landing. But if you look at playlists, You'll see there's the tips and tricks, basic webinars, mobile dashboard app, add-on and success strategies, marketplace add-ons, and so forth. So all of this is available for you.
And I heard somebody talking the other day, they were saying that anybody who subscribes to the Inside Real Estate channel like automatically does an extra side this month somehow. It just happens. So
well,
you gotta subscribe.
Yeah,
you'll make more money.
Oh my gosh, it's incredible. So
Right.
I don't think there's any. Are there any other questions we need to address prior, Devin, before we conclude here?
Well, let's thank Devin for being on. I don't know if he's there, but it was very helpful to have somebody from the product team here, and you guys did a great job on this. Yeah.
I will say that, yeah, we'll be emailing these out via your chat and email this coming weekend. It's going to be popped onto the replays webinar link here, and I'm going to be posting it into the Inside Real Estate Success Strategy group. So there's many, many ways of which you can get access to this recording. And then finally, it looks here, Sean was saying, hey, I've got a number of people who have not given me a phone number. How do I get them to get a phone number? It would be a great topic. Well, John, we do have that topic for you, and I will post that within the Inside Real Estate Success Strategy group today as like a from the vault, and I'll tag you.
Is that the video conversions, or is that another webinar? I can't remember.
There's a couple, but
yeah,
I'll have to look at them. There's been so many over the years.
Yeah. The long and short of that is that tools like the email editor will help you do the kind of stuff that'll get them to call you.
Yeah.
But there's other tactics.
Yes, there are. So we'll make sure you get some good information on that to revisit it. And thank you so much for everyone being here. We're going to go ahead and close out. Thank you to Devin, who is a really fantastic product manager who had a deep role in creating this email editor with the team. And thanks, Ryan, for being here. And I hope you all have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. See you, everybody.